Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Podcast Network. This is the Blue Podcast, and we have finally got a guest again. And I am joined with Lloyd, Melvin Minter, and Matthew. How are you guys doing?
All good, thank you.
Good.
Very looking forward to this one.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, yeah.
That's all good. I'm going to start with the philosophical questions that I've started doing recently, just ease us into the podcast. And these are reasonable,
Yeah,
I'd say.
I'd say they're not terrible.
They're not terrible. I'm going to start with a nice one. Is it more important to be kind or to be honest?
It's a good question, you know. I think you need both.
Yeah.
But I think honesty probably goes further. You probably have more credit in the bank with honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Say, obviously, you need to be kind more than anything else. But I think honesty, for me personally, I would say it has a bit more leverage to a certain degree.
What do you guys think?
I totally agree.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think being honest is more important in terms of, like, let's say you have a passion, you really want to do it, and you think it's a great idea, but that person doesn't think it's a great idea.
Mm.
If they go ahead and tell you that they think it's a great idea as well, I'd rather the person be honest with me than them sort of not. Because I guess is it lying in a way?
Well, there's
Like-
the interesting question of, like, can there be a good lie where you're like, I'm going to use, I know you know F1.
Right.
Charles Leclerc lying to his dad, who was about to
Yes.
die, that he'd been signed for F1. He hadn't yet, but his dad died thinking that his son had signed for an F1 team, and he did.
Right.
It's a lie,
I think that's
But
a
is
good
it a
lie.
good lie?
That's a good lie because
then,
it
if
gives
anything,
them
that's just being
happiness.
kind.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I look at it more as relationships. So, like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
if it's like your brother or your mum
Yeah.
or your partner or with your friends, like, obviously, if you're dishonest, then you lose a bit of, like...
You lose trust.
Yeah,
so
man.
true,
So I think that's very important. You can be an honest person, but in terms of kindness, I think kindness is important. But you can be like a neutral person and still be honest. I think to a certain
Yeah.
degree, rather than you could be kind and then also be a liar. Then it's a bit more conflicting. You're more
You
of
can
a
cause more issues.
yeah. So that's what I'd say.
All right. What makes something right or wrong?
You need context.
Yeah, I guess that's a
Um,
difficult question.
Let me think. So, how can... if you said someone was a bad person or a good person, what criteria would have to be met to define that?
Good person, bad person. I think is that based on the history you've had with the person or based on what you've...
Well, I guess that's up to you in the definition.
I think people would probably base it on their history of the individual or what they've seen from the outside in if they don't know that individual. So
Yeah.
an example, I could give you, let's say, a celebrity. We might not know a celebrity, but if we've seen their behaviours from the outside in, then we're going to have a perception on someone. Like, we all might have different perceptions on the same person.
Yeah.
And then the other one was, if it's like a relationship that you have with someone, then it's based on that sort of dynamic as well, innit? So it's just contextual, I think.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually think this is more of a contextual
Yeah, I
question.
think so too.
Yeah. Depends
'Cause-
on who, like, your experience with that person.
Yeah, because you can have some people like someone really a lot, and then have your other mate think they're a dickhead.
Yeah.
Put it simply. All right.
Yeah.
And do we have control over the choices we make?
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone looked at each other.
Yeah, I guess you do most of the time.
I do think there's definitely influences,
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
especially in the
agree.
younger generations these days.
Yeah.
Although I'm younger generation, but I hope I am.
I do think life's about choices and trade-offs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, you do have a choice to a certain degree. If you decide to do something negative, that's on you. You have
Yeah.
to take responsibility. No matter if you're around your friends or on your own, still think you have that free will to decide.
Yeah.
Unless someone's like put you to ransom and then
Yeah,
you're forced to
you've
do
got
something
no
against the
choice.
rule. Yeah. I think 95% of the time we have a choice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
I think you have a choice, but sometimes you might make specific choices because you know that it might benefit you in the long run, even if it damages you in the short run.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the podcast now.
Yeah,
You've warmed
cool.
up.
Yeah, cool.
Firstly, I want to say congratulations on winning the Isthmian North
Thank you.
with Brentford Town.
Thank you.
What was that feeling like recently?
Yeah, it was a crazy sort of season. We started the season relatively okay, I would say, and we had a lot of cup competitions, FA Cup, FA Trophy as distractions, and we kind of fell away in terms of our league position I say in the first few months. And then after that, once we got our cup competitions out of the way, when it got to like November, December, then we focused on the league, and it was just one-way traffic for us. And yeah, we managed to win the league for about, I think, 4 or 5 points, I'd say. So
That's pretty good.
yeah, we was 10th in November, and we was, I think, 18 points off the top. So
Yeah.
yeah, we had a little bit of I wouldn't say we had a hangover, but we lost in the playoff final the previous year on penalties as well. So we had a decent start to the season, but our league form wasn't replicating our cup sort of form. And
So what kind of runs did you have in the cup?
FA Cup, we got to the third qualifying round.
Played Southend, didn't you?
No, that was FA Trophy.
Oh, that's
so we played
trophy,
FA Trophy. We played Southend,
Oh wow.
who are a professional football club,
Mm-hmm.
a full-time club in the National League, and we got to the third round, I believe. We lost to them 5-3. So like it's not a disgraceful performance, but they're all like 3 leagues above us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we actually done
They're
okay.
in the playoffs for...
The National League now.
Yeah, they
yeah,
could
yeah.
go up to
League
League
Two
Two.
Basically, and
Yeah.
when we played them, I think we were both mid-table in our respective leagues at the time. So, and then FA Cup, we was I think it was 2 away from first round proper. So we had third round qualifying, then fourth round, then first round proper. So we actually did okay. We had a replay that we lost to a club called Leiston. But yeah, overall, like, it was a very successful season. So yeah.
I'd say that's really good going.
Yeah,
in all honesty,
crazy,
to be fair.
crazy season.
You mentioned about, of course, losing the playoff final last season.
Yeah.
Did you and your team use that as a motivation for this season to go up?
Yeah. So I've been at the club for 2.5 years, and over a 4-year period. So the club lost in the playoffs, in the playoff final about 3 seasons ago. And then when I joined, let's say 2.5 seasons ago, 2 seasons ago, let's say, we finished 8th, just outside the playoffs. And then last season, lost in the playoff final, and it was a tough pill to swallow, because I think we finished 5th, so the last playoff spot in the league, and won our semi-final, which we was obviously the underdogs. Got to the final, and we actually probably deserved to win the game over 90 minutes. Funny enough, I saved the penalty in the game, and then it got to the penalty shootout, and we unfortunately didn't win it. So we had to. I think we kept 70% of the group from that playoff final, and we managed to use that as obviously leverage and motivation to go again this season. And yeah, thankfully we did.
Do you think that makes a big difference, keeping that many players?
Yeah.
Especially in those kind of leagues?
Yeah, because more time players have played together, and they understand like chemistry and cohesion and that camaraderie. So like, thankfully the club, very ambitious club, they managed to keep the group together and just added in terms of quality. And yeah, it kind of showed this season,
Yeah. Looking forward to next season?
Yeah, looking forward to next season. So next season we'll be in step 3, the Ishmael Prem, and there's a lot of very, very big clubs and good clubs in that league. So looking forward to just give it another go and go again. So yeah.
Which club are you looking forward to playing the most?
It's a good question. So I've got a lot of friends that play at various different clubs. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really say there's a club that I'm looking forward to the
Fair
most.
enough.
I'll probably say teams like Billericay, St Albans. They're more the bigger clubs. Dulwich Hamlet as well. They're more renowned. They've been in the National South and stuff. So I'd say they're the ones that I'm probably looking forward to in terms of a game away from home, let's say, because they've got bigger crowds.
I'm going to take you a bit earlier in your career. I'm right in thinking you played for Chesterfield and Harrogate.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Obviously playing in a higher leagues.
Yeah. So funny enough, I was at Harrogate lockdown.
Okay.
Signed for them lockdown. I was there for a season. 2021 left there, and then went to Chesterfield after. Left there 2022. So yeah, it was a crazy sort of whirlwind experience, because prior to that I had done stuff on TV with like Soccer AM and a lot of like big brand stuff. So that kind of gave me a lot of digital presence, let's say, and helped me when I went into professional football clubs. There was a few clubs that I trialled at the time, Stevenage, etc., and a few others, and wasn't successful. And then I managed to get into Harrogate Town, and it was weird because I relocated there, and it was all lockdown, so everyone was obviously staying at home, etc. So like there was so much like COVID tests and like staying away from teammates and all this social distancing. But it was a weird time. But obviously it was my first professional contract at the time, so it was like a crazy sort of experience. And then went into Chesterfield, and yeah, Chesterfield was another crazy experience. We was going for the league and the National League. Obviously now they're in League Two, and they're doing all right. I think they lost in the playoff.
Yeah, they lost the playoff.
Yeah, the other day, to Warsaw, I believe, last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was in the National League at the time, and we had a strong squad, obviously trying to go for the league and stuff. And yeah, it was an up and down season, and we finished in the playoffs in that season. lost to my memory, I think it was Solihull Moors, who are, I think they're still in the National League.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a crazy season. So I've had a lot of experience, obviously, being in professional environments, etc.
What was that like for you personally? Like, how do you think you grew or changed in those experiences?
For me personally, it was big, like for myself and my family and my own career, because being a goalkeeper coming through non-league, I was playing step 3 essentially in the Southern Prem for a team called Kings Langley. So obviously the same equivalent of what Brentwood are doing now, but just different region. So it was a big jump going 3 divisions up, going into professional football. Unfortunately, my career didn't take off as much as I wanted it to, because at the time at Harrogate Town, I went out on loan into the National North, played a few games, done well, got recalled back. And as a goalkeeper, only goalkeepers will understand that you either play or you don't play. So I had an experienced goalkeeper in front of me, and all I did was pretty much just sit on the bench in the Football League for pretty much half a season. So obviously it looks good on your CV, and from the outside in, people think that you're flying, and you probably are flying, but at the same time you want to kick on with your career and you want to play and show what you can do. So I didn't really get that chance. And so it's just a part of football. I would say like politics and stuff is a big thing. So it's part of that. I moved on, went to Chesterfield, and had another experienced goalkeeper in front of me. So I played a few games, done my bit and stuff, but politics again involved and stuff, and just didn't quite get the chance that I believed that I had earned. But it was all part of the game. You just have to move on, innit?
Do you think there's a few players, I'm guessing that I'm going to say there probably is, through history, who were good enough for a chance, but as you said, just a more experienced player in front of them just means that they can't get that chance? And then, 2, 3, 4 years later, they've not had that experience. You've not played regular football, basically.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes a difference on someone's career, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I think there's a variety of different things to where players don't excel. Obviously, we could look at it from the top down, and let's say there's wonder kids that we've all seen in our careers, let's say the Bojans or the Ansu Fatis, etc., that should have gone to like crazy heights and might not have. And everyone's got different reasons. Some injuries, politics. Some maybe got the chance and didn't take it. Some lost the hunger. Everyone has different trajectories in it. So just for me, for myself as a goalkeeper, I'd always had like a goalkeeper in front of me that was way more experienced, and that was the excuse that was given. So it's not easy.
As a goalkeeper, it's hard to prove you're significantly better than another one if they're still making all the saves and stuff. Yeah.
And also goalkeeping's more down to like experience. So like the goalkeepers I had in front of me had played in League One, Championship, etc. So it's difficult. I'd say like when it comes to goalkeeping and defenders, you rarely see like a flux of young goalkeepers at the top level, a flux of young defenders playing. Managers are more likely to give an attacker an opportunity or a midfielder, because there's less risk on their part at the end of the day, innit? So obviously it's tough, but if you do get the opportunity, let's say like the lad that's just gone from Bournemouth to Real Madrid, Hoyson, if you get an opportunity and you take it, then your career will fly after that. But if you don't get the opportunity, it is very, very tough. So
I mean, I think Hoyson got kind of blessed being kicked out by Juventus, because he was brilliant when he played for Juventus, but didn't play.
Did you watch him play for Juventus?
Yeah.
I didn't. Oh, fair enough.
He was very good when he played, but very rarely played because of his age.
Did he play a lot of games?
No, not that many.
He went out on loan to Roma when Jose Mourinho was
for a season, innit?
And that's where he sort of got his name, got his chances.
And then Juve basically said to him, "We're not going to play you this season. You need to go somewhere." Went to Bournemouth. Obviously, Bournemouth are very well known for playing younger players. He then obviously played all season. Has been unbelievable. And I mean, Jesus Christ, going to Real Madrid.
Yeah, 50 million, isn't it? Spain call up.
19 as well.
Yeah.
19, crazy. But he has got talent. You
can see the talent. He's almost someone who kind of got blessed by being kicked out a little bit, because Bournemouth took the gamble and it's worked out for him. But he could have ended up at a Liga side who aren't very good or something like that, and then obviously he would not be getting this move to Real Madrid.
Other teams similar to that model, I'd say, is like Brighton, Brentford.
Yes.
They buy players, young, unknown talents from
like 3-4
overseas
million.
and then sell them on for like crazy fees, isn't it?
Caicedo's a great example of that.
Yeah, what was it like? They bought him for like 4 million,
Yeah.
I think it was.
4 million.
Ridiculous.
Well, didn't he play like a season and a half and sold for 100 mil?
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
I think they're the best run club.
Brighton, isn't it?
But best run club that aren't going to do very much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're not going to challenge for a Premier League. They're not.
No.
If they keep on going like.
You're talking about Brighton,
Yeah.
They're just a feeder club.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
basically.
But like they'll be sustainable in the Premier League. They're a
100%.
sustainable club, which is funny because obviously they're a very sustainable club in their ethos and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't see them winning an FA Cup or getting in the Champions League or something like that.
They don't have the pedigree that a lot of lower level clubs have.
Yeah, because it's just down to history, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like for a lot of clubs, like even Manchester United, they might not get into any European football next season. They're still going to be able to attract players regardless, I think, just because of the history of what they have. As for Brighton, it's a lot different. Like they need to try and create their own history at the top level to then be able to go ahead and say, yeah, you know what, we can attract this player who might go to somewhere else instead. But if they look at Brighton and they've won a couple FA Cups or something like that and they've been successful, then players are more likely to end up going there. But it's a great club to...
The model's well run,
The model's very well
it's
run.
It's more of like, I might look, say for example, you're 21 years of old. Let's say 18 to 23, You're going to look at Brighton as a stepping stone before you go to like a Liverpool or let's say an Arsenal, etc. innit? So the business model is great. They sign you for low and they sell you on. And
well, I mean, for a young player as well, you look at that and you think, I'm going to get game time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be trained really well.
Yeah.
And then likely I get a big move if I do well.
Yeah. No, you mentioned about playing in COVID. What was that like, actually, like playing in an empty stadium or an empty ground? Because seeing on the TV, obviously, they had like an option to add stadium sound noise and stuff like that.
That was crazy.
So I was wondering what it's like when you don't get that, or if you do, how is it?
Yeah, so I think COVID was March 2020,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, March 2020.
I signed at Harrogate September 2020, so there was no one in the stadium, etc. So it's weird because if you watch football in the stadium or if you watch it on TV, you can hear so much noise, etc. You can hear the commentator, but when you're in the stadium and there's no supporters, you can hear everyone just talking, and it was a weird sort of dynamic. So watching it from the outside in, obviously I was sitting on the bench watching games, etc. It was just very weird, something different that I've never seen before. But when I went out on loan to Darlington, they're north east, so it was still the same dynamic. There was no supporters, so obviously playing, and obviously me as a goalkeeper, I'm very vocal and I organise, etc. So you can hear yourself more than anything else, rather than when you're playing in front of a big crowd. Sometimes you can't hear yourself or your defenders can't hear you. So it was just weird. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Proper weird.
It made spectators realise how much players have to communicate. I think at the top level, like you realise how much you actually talk in a game.
Yeah, I remember Jordan Henderson. It was a game against Atalanta away from home, and you could just hear him screaming every 5 seconds. Like, I had to turn the sound on, the stadium sound on, because he was shouting that much that you could hear it over the commentators.
That was really Liverpool won the league, innit? Did they win it 2020?
No, we won the league. We won the league 2020.
When was 2019?
2019 was Champions League.
So you won it 2020 then? Was Man City?
Man City, yeah.
Oh,
no.
okay.
I think it was.
The COVID year was Liverpool. I'm sure it was
yeah, for the league, it was us. It was.
City
It was.
won it after
I think
they
it was.
lost to us.
Was it? Yeah, was it? But
Real
when did you
Madrid?
win it? Did you
Was
win
it
it
Real Madrid?
2020? No, it was Bayern.
Was it Bayern?
It would have had to be
I think it was
Bayern.
Bayern. They beat
Yeah.
PSG.
It had to be Bayern because then Thiago joined that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
They beat PSG
that
in the
makes
final,
sense.
innit?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
yeah.
City didn't win theirs till they lost to us in 2021.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was still sort of COVID regulated in a way, wasn't it? There wasn't as many fans
Stadium
in the
was packed.
stadium. Was it back?
Yeah.
I
For
was
the
in
2021 one.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
was
was
it?
packed,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
In
yeah.
Porto,
I remember
innit?
that.
Porto,
Yeah, it was packed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2020, I think
2020
was
was
different.
probably different.
Yeah.
2021 COVID was pretty much.
Yeah, done.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that one wrong.
Well, I'm intrigued to see, because a lot of people talk about COVID players.
Yeah.
You know, players that stepped up when there was no crowds. Did you see that as well when you were playing? Like some players actually playing better, or I guess worse, depending on if they had a crowd there.
Yeah, that's a good question. It wasn't something that struck me. I remember those conversations of people having that.
Pulisic.
But I did, yeah. I did see like certain players, obviously down at in League 2 level, etc., thriving, etc., in that environment. So it was quite weird because when you play in front of a crowd, the crowd's gonna target certain types of players, or if you have a bad game, then you're gonna get banter, etc. So there are some players that maybe not as mentally strong to deal with certain crowds that aren't able to deal with that. But during COVID, there was a few players that done okay, I'd say.
Yeah.
I feel like there's obviously the opposite as well, because I remember an interview with Vardy saying about COVID that he didn't like it because he thrives off the crowd. That's why he plays well. And without that, he's like, well, that's half my game gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost felt weird like watching it on the TV and you'd see the Premier League players running away to the corners to celebrate, but there's nobody in the ground, so they'd just be like, "Yeah, come on," and then there'd be nobody in the stands.
No, it was the cardboard cutouts of fans.
Oh my god,
that was funny.
I completely forgot about that.
Harrogate,
Nah, they didn't do that League Two level. They didn't do that League Two level, not at all.
There was a funny thing where I think like a group of lads all sent in the same photo of one of their mates, so that like there was a whole row of this one guy in the Premier League, and it was like the worst photo of him. But let's you mentioned Soccer AM.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Crazy experience that. So there's a big brand called Rising Ballers that I've been a part of for quite a while, and how they started, long story short, was they started publishing young talent all across the world and managed to grow a big following from that. And then they decided to make a men's team so they could give like unsigned players an opportunity to sign up professional football clubs. So from that group that I was with, a lot of big players coming from that group. Illiman and Jazz probably the stand-up.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He played with, he went to Sheffield United, and then from there went to Marseille. Now he's thriving at Everton. But long story short, we had a lot of we was doing a lot of shoots with a lot of brands and was doing a lot of in-house games where scouts would come and watch. Had an in-house game one time, can't remember where it was. Scouts come down and I done very, very well. But I was the oldest group. I was the oldest player in the group compared to all the other boys. And out of the blue, I got a text. So I must have went to bed that day thinking nothing's going to come out of that sort of opportunity, and a few of the boys done well and it was going to be more beneficial for them. I think sometimes stars align. I went to bed thinking nothing happened. I woke up at 3 a.m. just to use the toilet. I was gonna say the P word, but let's say go for the toilet. Looked at my phone, Oh, I'm allowed to swear? Yeah, went for a piss, Went for a piss. Looked at my phone for some strange reason, because I don't usually look at my phone when I wake up middle of the night. Got a text from someone saying, Sky, I think the goalkeeper previously was Lloyd Griffith.
So you would have been before John. I know Big John.
Yeah. So I'm gonna explain that, but I'm the reason why all the other boys came through. So back to the story. Lloyd Griffith, who was the main goalkeeper on the show, and he was doing other parts. I got a text from someone saying that he's leaving the show. Mm-hmm. Would you like to be involved and meet up with Tubes and Bullard and Fenners and do a pre-recorded shoot with them? So I've gone back on my phone. The person's texted me I think 11 o'clock. I went to bed early that day because I was very tired. Yeah. I've seen at 3 o'clock. I've texted him back thinking, this opportunity might have gone. So I've texted him back saying, I'll be interested. Let's have a phone call. Didn't hear back from the person until 3 p.m. the next day. So, and then I had a phone call with this. Thinking the
opportunity's not there anymore.
Yeah. So long story short, had a phone call with this person. It was a friend that was connected with people that work at Sky. Yeah. And they had got in contact with him. They needed a goalkeeper. They were deciding on who to branch out to. And then after, I think I met up with Fenners and the boys a few days after. And it was just a surreal experience. I think I've done my first pre-recorded shoot with, to my memory, I think it was Wayne Bridge, Steve Sidwell.
Wow.
As a Chelsea fan. As a Chelsea fan, that's two decent names.
Yeah. Akinfenwa, there was one more. I can't remember who it was. Glenn Murray, that was it. Glenn Murray.
Wow.
Done well. Yeah. Sat down with the boys, Fenners, etc. And they said to me, do you want to be the main goalkeeper for the show? But it was weird because I was still obviously trying to become a professional footballer at the time. Yeah. And this was a season before I signed at Harrogate. So this was 2019. So I said to them, I'll try and juggle it with my non-league club, Kings Langley. We was based in Watford way. Sky's studios are based in West London.
Yes. Yeah.
So I said to them, if I've got a home game, I'll come and film. Obviously, Soccer AM was I can't remember the times. I think it was it was earlier than that. It was 9 to 12.
Yes, it was in the morning. I remember
9 to 12. So I said to them, and I agreed with my club, I'll come and film before, obviously, before my game, and then go off to my game after. Done all that. But they wanted me on every single week. And I had to make a decision on, do I take the gig every week or do I work with my club? Decided to work with my club, and then they asked me, give us a name of goalkeepers that you'd put forward. So I started putting forward Big G's. These times I didn't know John, etc. I put forward Big G's name first, and then that's when all the influx of Declan McCarthy's and Ibby and John all come through with Big G and stuff. So Yeah, it was a crazy experience.
So you're kind of the
pioneer,
the unk of that.
Basically, yeah, crazy, yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I mean, you've worked with other influencers, if I'm not mistaken, in like YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who. Do you remember who?
Sidemen.
Yeah, Sidemen.
Sidemen, E-Man, SV2.
Yeah.
A lot of these big, Jeremy Lynch, Billy Ringgold, PK.
What's Jeremy
Humble,
Lynch
like?
like?
All of these. Jeremy Lynch. He's my guy, innit?
Is it okay?
He gets
why I'm
Marmite
curious.
in terms of how people perceive him. Innit? Me
Yeah.
personally, I've always had a great relationship
Yeah.
with him personally, innit? But I've heard a lot of people say negative stuff with him. He's a bit misunderstood to a certain degree.
Okay.
So I'll say that he's a sound guy, very, very like down to earth guy.
Nice.
And I hear a lot of different perceptions from different people.
Yeah.
Me personally, my relationship with him has been very,
Yeah.
very sound. So
No,
I
I
haven't
think
got
that's
anything to say.
Yeah, as you said, I think that's an interesting thing as well. Like bringing it back sort of to the philosophical
First
question.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
question sort of
yeah.
thing.
Perception,
It
innit?
was like
Circle.
perception.
when you don't know
exactly.
someone, you
Yeah.
see clips of someone.
Yeah,
it's very
100%.
easy to make
100%.
a
Yeah,
perception.
which is why it's so important to not make your mind up on certain things that you're seeing. You can have maybe a little inside opinion,
Yeah.
but I want to go ahead and go out publicly
yeah,
shaming people who I've never even met,
Yeah.
because that makes no sense whatsoever,
Yeah.
because you don't actually know the person, you've
Yeah.
never met them, you never spoke to them. So yeah, I think that
So
that
that's why
rounds it up
the
to
commentary
first question.
YouTube scene's kind of fallen off because of that. Because you can't really be slagging off someone who you've never met.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense, does
Yeah,
it?
it's true.
Like,
it's very, very true. I
But
agree.
how did these things come about with the Sidemen, obviously SV2, that kind of stuff?
I'll probably say Soccer AM obviously
Yeah.
helped my profile line. Rise and Ball has helped my profile line. Being
Yeah.
a professional footballer helped my profile
So it's
line.
like, kind of like a mixture of stuff.
So yeah, I'd say like all of that stuff. People have seen me in numerous videos, etc., and brands hit me up direct, or these influencers
Yeah.
will hit me up direct, whether it's through management or themselves. So all of that stuff's just come through social media, I'd say.
Is there anyone you've met that you've been quote unquote starstruck by?
Good question. Not influencer, in all
Yeah.
due respect.
No, I mean,
I'd probably say
that's why I
professional
didn't say that.
footballer.
Yeah.
I'd probably say when I done something with Adidas,
Yeah.
with Pedri. It was
Wow.
I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Sick.
And I had to fly out to Barcelona to do that.
That must be
And
a
I'd,
cool
I'd say that when I saw him, and he didn't understand that much English, to be fair. But when I saw him and I'd done a shoot with him, I was like, wow, like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he's a superstar, I'd say, innit? So
He's
probably
massive
say-
in Spain.
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
in
He's
Spain.
had an outstanding
Unbelievable
season. As well.
season.
They're poster
Yeah.
boys, like, really.
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. It's like so many people get him mixed up that they think that he's a La Masia Academy graduate
Yeah.
because he fits the system so well. But
Yeah.
obviously he came from Las Palmas.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's just so good on the ball, it's a joke. Like the
Technically a
card,
joke.
technically,
Yeah.
you can't get close to him. I don't think. I'd hate to mark him in midfield. I tell you, I absolutely despise it. I'm
good thing you're a
I'm
winger.
nowhere near as good enough. I'm nowhere near good enough. But if I was a professional footballer, I still would absolutely hate it because you just wouldn't be able to get the ball off him.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah,
impossible.
That sparks a question for me, quick one,
Yeah.
just off topic, because I've been seeing this a lot online, yeah. If you, say for example, you had to play a Premier League game, how long do you think you would last in a Premier League game?
Last.
Wasn't just like running around, like how long?
So you play on the wing,
Yeah, I mean, mate.
if you had to play on the wing, how
I'd-
long
I'd-
would you
I'd-
last?
You
I'd-
are
I
arguably the
would-
best podcast network player.
right,
Yeah.
Arguably.
mate.
You've asked the right person.
Yeah, I'd get hooked after about 5 minutes.
You
Like,
reckon
I
disagree with that.
Do you not think so?
I disagree with that.
Do you reckon? Well, no, it's
I
not.
reckon
It's
he
not
lost at least
that.
a half.
I'm not talking about stat. I'm talking about like actual quality. Like,
I disagree
I think
with that.
people don't realise
How
how
quick.
good
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
No, to
Like,
be fair, it's very. It's
I-
very
it-
But
quick.
5 minutes must mean you were bad.
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
mean,
think you
maybe,
get
As
maybe.
a winger, you can definitely
Okay.
hide from.
True.
Okay, shall we say?
true.
Shall we say what?
I'd say half time.
Half time.
45 minutes, yeah.
45
Because
minutes.
you can
half-time.
hide a
Okay.
bit as a winger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take that.
If no one-
So if I can play half a game in the Premier League, I'll be happy.
In this theory, you are a Premier League player, so to speak.
Right.
No one knows that you're just some random guy off the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'd say 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, 45. Okay, I can
don't
see
think-
it.
I don't
yeah.
think
Even
I'd
if
last
you,
till
even if
3.
one of your wingers, even if one of your wingers is having a bad game, you don't hook them.
No. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And most wingers are not as involved in the games all
No.
the time
Yeah.
anyways. It's more like if you play down the spine, let's say centre half, centre mid,
Yeah.
up top.
You make a mistake.
Yeah, like you need to be consistently in the game.
Yeah.
I would get hooked in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think
Do you
I
think
wouldn't
so?
even last that long.
Yeah,
Especially
no offense, Matt.
As a centre back as well, especially.
Yeah, maybe I could.
Where do you play then?
I play through the middle,
So centre mid.
more
Or
of an
up
8.
top?
Or
Oh,
up top.
yeah,
Up 10 or
fair
up top.
enough,
10. I kind of
You have to
because
be-
I play Sunday League. It's kind of like striker 10 or 8.
But you're
depending on what
very
we
involved
need.
in the game because you
Yes,
play down the
exactly.
span of the game.
Yeah.
innit?
Yeah.
No, it's different.
I wouldn't want to try and hold the ball up against a Premier League centre back.
No.
Imagine Van Dijk behind you.
Oh,
like,
brother, I'm finished.
Or Saliba or something.
Oh,
oh,
mate,
bro, it's
yeah.
crazy. It's just
I just try and chest it down, and then they just get it.
Be gone.
Straight
it just
away.
looks so calm and composed.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like Van Dijk breaks a sweat
No.
or anything like that. When
Cruise
he's
control, innit?
defending, it's just crazy.
You know when I take it past you boys in training and stuff, and it feels great.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I play a League 2 player, 3 League 2 players in those 3 positions. I'm not taking it past them.
No.
Not even one.
No,
of them,
this
that's
is the-
thing.
Or
Yeah.
even lower. Like I'd say
Yeah.
National South,
Yeah.
Ishmael,
Ishmael.
and stuff.
Yeah. No, but it's-
I'm not getting past them.
no, it's like as we said, there's been players who have been in National League South and they've gone ahead and said, "Oh my gosh, like the difference when you're in an academy and you're in and around it, it's so crazy because they're like the energy levels, just the footwork,
The
how
demands,
quick
innit?
they move the
Yeah,
ball, how
demands is high.
smart the players actually are. It's like when Rodri won the Ballon d'Or, it was like, I totally get why he's won the Ballon
Yeah,
d'Or
yeah.
because he's so
Yeah.
smart at what he does. Like he's not the fastest player, but he's smart.
Yeah.
He's
JT's
aware.
the best centre back ever.
On that point though, because you've played League 2 and then you've played Step 3, how high do you think the quality of Step 3 is compared to what people would think?
It's a good question. I'll give you an example. We see a lot of FA Cup, let's say fairy tale,
Yeah.
where a lower team would beat a professional football club. I'd say it's not a massive gap. There is a bit of a gap. There is, like you was mentioning, players that have the IQ, etc. Players that might be a bit more quicker, players that are a bit more clinical in their work. So I'd say there is a bit of a gap, I'd say, because obviously you've got full-time players that train every single day and then you've got part-time players that don't. So the fitness levels and stuff do come to account. So I'll say there is a bit of a gap to a certain degree. Maybe if you play, if a part-time team plays a League 2 team 10 times, they might win just the one time or the 2 times, but like we might catch them on an off day. But 8 or 9 times out of 10, a League 2 team should win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long are you lasting in the Premier League?
In the Premier League, as a goalkeeper, I can probably get away with it a bit more because goalkeepers aren't as involved in a game. So I'll probably say 45 minutes.
I think as a keeper you could last 90 with the right defence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the thing,
yeah,
because
yeah,
the defence in front of you is so important.
True. But
like-
if I'm playing for, let's say, a team like, I'm trying to think the teams towards
Manchester United.
yeah, the teams that concede a lot of like shots on goal and stuff.
Spurs.
Then you're gonna have a lot more of a target on your back. So I'd say that. Yeah.
And no offence, Matt, after the first touch.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah.
We were doing control drills
Touch
yesterday.
challenge. Oh, okay.
Yeah, with him yesterday, and
I can't. I've got no.
he was like
whatsoever.
after the drill, he was like, "I'm knackered." He said, "Yeah, because you've been chasing after the ball. You've kicked halfway across the pitch." Oh man!
But I'm all with the Step 3 question as well though, because a lot of people will say like they'll go watch their local club. They'll be like, "Oh, how high actually is the level?" Like, I reckon I could play there, but they couldn't. Like, how high would you say the level is compared to like Brentwood's level, for example? How high is that compared to like the misconception of what people think?
It's a decent level. We've obviously got ex-pros, you've got young and hungry players, you've got players that have been there and done that at the level through non-league, etc. So you're getting paid to play football, which is a bonus. Obviously not life-changing money like the Premier League players, but you're still playing at a decent standard. So if you compare it to, in all due respect, to someone playing Sunday League, like there is a difference to a certain degree. If a Sunday League team played a Step 3 team, you would see
they'd really struggle.
You'd see the results.
I'd say look at Ballers League, right? Most of the players in Ballers League are National League, National South,
Step
National
3,
Step 3 players, right? And they are unbelievably good at football.
Yes.
So
exactly.
like, there's no chance. So when I was at Eastbourne, wasn't playing, by the way, I was doing media.
Okay.
Like watching them week in, week out, like there's no chance. I'm not stepping on that pitch.
Yeah.
No.
Like
You've
got to remember these. We have obligations. We have to train 3 times a week. Whereas if you're playing Sunday League, you're playing with your mates. You might not even train. You might just turn up on a Sunday and play. So like the commitment at one aspect versus another aspect is
so different.
It's so much of a gap.
90% of my team turn up hungover.
Yeah.
Still win though. So
Yeah, you take that.
I love being a team when they've got a coach. They've been full warm up, full had a training game like midweek. We rock up, sweating, hungover, and we beat them like 3-1.
Yeah,
So,
there
okay.
you go.
Well done. But I want to start. We've kind of been working backwards in your career.
Yeah.
When did you first get into football?
From the age of, to my memory, 6 or 7 years
Yeah.
of age, my grandmother introduced me to football. After school club, from what I remember, very vaguely, took me to after school club, and that was my sort of first beginnings, I'd say. Yeah.
And then just kept on going through school.
Yeah, so
Any
I'd
you
say
go to academy?
As in football, as in
Football, yeah.
So when I left school, I went into Oxford United,
Okay.
and didn't sign a scholarship straight away. I relocated to Oxford, and they had
Must
like
this be at 16?
yeah, 16, done my GCSEs, relocated to Oxford, and they had some sort of extended schoolboy, whereas if you had done well in that year playing for the under 17s and the under 18s, you would get a 2-year scholarship on top after that year. So in our team we had, I can't remember, I think we had like 15 players. 2 players progressed to go and get scholarships and stayed in the youth team, but all of us played like youth team at various different points of the season, and it was just down to the youth team manager to decide whether he was good enough to or not.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the Oxford United manager that left a few months ago, Des Buckingham, he was their first team manager this season as they've been in the championship.
right.
He was my under 17s
Oh,
manager
wow.
Cool.
there. So yeah, it was
That's quite
crazy.
cool.
So funny enough, I done a shoot with Oxford United a few months ago with Sky Bet in the League of 72. Went there and saw him for the first time in like 10 years.
That's cool.
And he left the club, I think maybe a few weeks after we had done that shoot. But when I was at Oxford United as a 16, 17-year-old, he was my under 17s manager. And then there was another youth team manager that like obviously took over the youth
Yeah.
team games and stuff. So I was at Oxford for a season and then didn't get a scholarship, so I left there and
What did you do after that?
went to Brentford Football Club. So
Yep.
before Brentford, I went to a club called Hayes and Yedden. I think Hayes and Yedden are step 3 or step 4, but back in
Yeah.
when I was 17, they were National South.
Okay.
So I played for that, their reserve team and their under 18s, played there for youth club, etc. Done well, and then Brentford picked me up. And back then, Brentford were in League One. So
Yeah.
obviously Brentford they've been flying ever since. They're in the Premier League now, but they were in League One, and I played for before they used to call it under 21s, and now it's called like under 23s B team, etc. So I played for the under 21s, and the aim was to try and get a professional contract, and they didn't get a professional contract, so I played for them for a season, and there were some big names that come through the door. Tarkowski was
Yep.
a part of.
Yeah.
They signed him from Oldham, and he played with us in the 21s, etc. And then obviously he's progressed and gone to
He's not
play
bad
for
now, is he?
Everton. Yeah.
No,
It's
no.
a very good academy. People always talk about the Brentford
Yeah.
Academy. It's one of the really
not
good ones.
an academy, is it?
It's like a.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to explain. They closed it down for a few years
Yeah.
and then they brought it back up. So they're more of like a feeder.
Yeah.
They're more of like a feeder academy. There's not an
It's
like
academy
they-
per
yeah,
se
it's
because
like
they're not
they
in the league. That's why.
Yeah, they have like a club. It's like a second club, basically.
Basically, yeah.
And then they feed the first team.
Basically, but they're not in the actual league.
No.
Like let's say all
No.
the other clubs.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they're Cat 1 or Cat 2.
Yeah.
But they just play friendlies.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting.
It's a
one,
B
that.
team. So it's like IXB.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a B team.
it's like
a B
in
team.
it's like you see in Germany. There's a lot of like second teams, isn't there?
It's massive in the
But
area.
they're allowed
Yeah.
to compete
Dutch.
in the actual
But they're
league.
yeah,
though,
they're in
Germany
like
as
they're
well.
like third tier, fourth tier
Yeah.
teams.
There's like 4 B teams in the Dutch second division, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like because 7th place, I believe, in the second division in the Netherlands is going to get promoted because first and second are getting promoted. Third place didn't get the UEFA license,
Okay.
so they can't play in the Eredivisie.
Yeah.
And then the next 4 teams are B teams, and then so the 7th.
Oh, and the B teams can't get promoted.
Nope.
No, probably
Conflict
not.
of interest.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
finishing 7th place and still getting promoted.
That's crazy. What team is that?
I don't know who it is.
okay,
Just
that's
I got to
crazy.
explain. One of our hosts is an Ajax fan. He's lived in where did he live?
Amsterdam.
For a long time. He explained this to us, and I
That's
I
mad.
guess I'm the only one that remembered.
Yeah.
That, but
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So you said growing up, of course, football. Were there any other sports that interested you growing up
Nah,
at
you
all?
know.
No, it was just
Nah,
football. No, I know.
yeah.
For me as well, it was just football.
Yeah, there's some sorts I'll say I admire, like on the eye, tennis. I'll say. It's not
I
too
like
bad.
Yes.
tennis,
Yeah.
Bit of basketball. It looks decent. NFL looks decent. I've
Yeah.
never played any of them.
no
but
rugby.
Nah, not for me. You know.
Fair enough.
I've watched it a few
Yeah,
times,
yeah.
but it's not for me, man. Not for
Yeah.
me personally.
I didn't play football till I was 18 because I played rugby
Oh
the whole
wow.
time.
Oh, so you're a rugby person?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
fair.
no, I'm a football person. Always have been. I just went to a school that only did 2 times of rugby and then cricket or athletics.
Yeah.
What about yourselves, boys?
Football.
Yeah,
Football
Football's
always.
the main one. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much always was. My dad tried to get me into boxing when I was like 4 or 5, but I was like, I'm not doing that. I said to, I just like he'd give me the gloves and then I'd try it out and then I'd just throw the gloves on the floor and not want to do it. It would just it was always football, more or less.
I played a bit of tennis. I did a lot of lessons when I was younger, but I was never coordinated enough to do it well because it's so much about footwork. It's nothing about how you hit the ball because anyone can do that. It's about where you stand.
Okay.
It's so hard.
Has football been the most popular sport of all through history?
It's gotta be,
From the beginning.
Of all time,
I'd say so. Yeah.
Because even if you've got like sports long time ago, only if they're from like let's say the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire and stuff. Roman Empire wasn't global. Greek Empire wasn't global. If they had sports, the Aztec Empire wasn't global. It was very defined to where the region was. Whereas football is the most global sport in the world.
Because everywhere plays it. All you need is one piece of equipment and you can play.
Just literally the football.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many like registered national teams, isn't there, for football across the world? You probably don't get that number in any other sport. I'd want to say.
Jersey Bird, we're looking for a national team partnership. But yeah, I mean, I think that's everything we're going to cover today.
That's sound. Yeah, that's
it was an absolute pleasure.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Have a good time?
Yeah, I had a good time.
Would recommend.
That was a good conversation, man.
Do you want to plug where everyone can find you just at that?
Oh yeah, so Melvin Minter on Instagram. I've also got a goalkeeping academy, Fly for Sport.
I didn't ask about that.
Got a goalkeeping academy, Fly for Sport. So got a range of coaches, and obviously we provide organisations with goalkeeping coaches, etc. Because we realise grassroots up, there isn't there's a need for it, and there isn't much goalkeeping outlets for unless you're in a professional football club or a coach.
You're always pushed to go for outfield.
Basically, innit? Most 95% of players are outfielders, but
Yeah.
obviously goalkeepers haven't got anything in terms of outlets, so they have to train with outfielders all the time. So got a goalkeeping academy, etc. I've got my own YouTube channel as well, Minter Madness. So and then also doing a lot of brand work, etc. So yeah, doing quite a bit, and then obviously Brentwood Town is the team. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, keep an eye on Brentwood Town next season.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
But thank you very much, guys, for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll see you in the next one.